And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at another one of the Beast Machines basic class Maximals. And this time around, we are taking a look at Hammerstrike. Turns into a really cool little techno-organic hammerhead shark here. Kind of the spiritual successor to the original Beast Wars, what was his name? Cyber Shark. And yeah, he's got a really nice little shark mode here. Lots of cool detail there. Now, the unfortunate thing about this figure is that a lot of his parts are made out of this sort of like thin, translucent orange plastic, and I've had a few breakage points on him, mainly the tabs that hold the back fin together. They're like just tabs that plug into each other. Those snapped off ages ago. So most of the time I can get it to kind of line up and just sit that way anyway, so it's not that big a deal, but worth mentioning. And there's definitely a few other points that look like they're close to breaking if I look at them the wrong way. But yeah, cool little shark mode. Articulation wise in this mode, his tail can kind of bend forward and back a little bit, not a whole lot. The fins are on hinges here. You can kind of get a little bit of wiggle in the back section here just because of transformation, but nothing really substantial. And then the jaw can, well, it can open and close, I would say, but it's really more like open and open wider. It doesn't actually close. In terms of action features in this mode, he's got his little maximal crystal here, which is really actually pretty hard to see. It kind of just looks like a clear, just a clear blue marble there, but there is a maximal symbol in there. And then just in case you can't figure that out, he does have a regular printed maximal symbol on the side here. But anyway, if you push that in, his he gets this little blade weapon in the front of his hammerhead, and that's pretty cool. Although, which comes with it is his eyes, because this orange piece is what makes his eyes behind in this section here. So I guess his eyes are part of the blade, which is a little weird, but that's still a pretty cool little feature. It is cool how that actually carries through to robot mode as well. But yeah, to transform this guy, first thing you want to do is just untab the jaw here. It tabs together in the middle, and very carefully rotate this out to the side. It's just on a ball joint up here. Excuse me. And then, yeah, rotate that out on both sides. And then you actually take the whole section here with the head of the hammerhead mode, and that actually untabs here. And yeah, I'll get to how that mechanism works, even though it tabs in, but it's basically just this little button here, which actually activates that. So I usually, in robot mode, when he's holding his weapon, I usually have that out extended, but then there's I'm not sure how many of these steps for the arms are actually like in the instructions, but what I do is fold the jaw to the back. I'm fairly certain you're supposed to do that. I don't know if you have to do this or not, but I usually take the fins and fold them to the inside. So he's got like these kind of like implied webbings between his shoulders and his arms. And then these sections here, these red sections, are also on little hinges. So I usually just fold those up to kind of go in line with the back fin there, the dorsal fin. Not sure how much of that you're really supposed to do, but that that's what I do. And then you take this sort of like spinal section here and fold it down like that. Rotate it 90 degrees so that this bit is pointing forward. Take the chromed out section here and fold that down, and then his head hinges up here, and that's the part with the spark crystal on it. And if you think he's got kind of like a weird little face, it took me actually forever to realize this, but this little orange bit that he, like, maybe it's like a beard or just like a weird little mouth or something, is actually the part that very, very slightly, it's really hard to tell, gets pushed down when you press the crystal on his head, and just ever so slightly touches that button to activate the gimmick. And that's pretty cool. And then the tail itself, you actually split this way, and then you rotate just the sections with the tail bits on them to make his feet. And there you have Hammerstrike in his robot mode. There's nowhere to store the weapon if he's not holding it. For mine, I used to have him always hold it in this hand, but this piece is, it's cracking. Like, you can see some of the cracks in there. So now I have him hold it in this hand. And once that one starts cracking, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. But for now, I'm just trying to be kind of gentle with it. But yeah, so I just kind of treat it like he's got one weapon arm, basically, since there's nowhere to like store it on his back or anything, which is pretty common with with these figures. Not a huge deal, just something that in modern figures really irks me when they don't have any weapon storage, but I can forgive it on an old guy like this. But yeah, he's got a really weird looking robot mode. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I get that. I like it just because he's like a weird, funky little guy, but I could definitely see, how some people would think that his robot mode is just like super ugly. Articulation wise, his head is on a ball joint here. You can get a bit of movement there. And it's also got that hinge so it can fold into the body like that, but I don't really see that being overly helpful. He's got a ball joint at the waist, so he can kind of crack his back there like that. Ball joints at the hips. Hinge knee, question mark? Yeah, he's got like, you can hinge his knee like that, and then you've also got the ball joint here, but it only bends inward, so really the hinge is what you're doing, and it doesn't bend that far, but it can bend forward as well if you prefer that. Then, yeah, so because he's got the ball joint here, there's a swivel, and then there's a little, basically a really thin mushroom peg here for the feet. So that gets a swivel as well. And then the arms, shoulders are on just basically a hinge here. And then the elbows are on ball joints. They're pretty stiff, and both parts of it are the translucent orange plastic. So I try not to move that as much as possible. I basically just keep his arms in this position, but at your own risk. I'll show him off with the ones that we looked at so far. Here he is with Night Viper and Longhorn fell over, and Buzzsaw, who also fell over, and Geckobot. And then we'll stand these guys back up. So yeah, the team's coming together here. Like I said, all of the animal guys in Beast Machines were considered Maximals, even though some of these guys I would think would be more in line with Predacons, but up to you. Really, they're all the same faction technically, but you can do whatever you want with your figures. But yeah, they all look pretty good together so far. Only 2 left of the non-show Beast Machines maximal basic class figures that we're looking at right now. But yeah, he's a good little figure. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so stay tuned for that. And without further ado, here we have Transformers Beast Machines Basic Class Hammerstrike.